about? It is me, FoggyPlays. Today we're doing a little bit of an experiment that is kind of a topical one. People saying that Celtic and Rangers, if they were in England, they'd be fighting for the Premier League title. We've decided today we're going to take them out of Scotland, pop them into the Championship. As you can see, Blackburn and Cardiff are the two teams that we removed. We're going to see how they're going to get on. So let's go back to the first season. I jumped forward 5 years, as you can tell by the fact that Blackburn and Cardiff have been winning the league for the last 5 years. So we're going to jump to the first season. We're going to see how that all went down. So back to the first season, the 1920 league season. As you can see, Celtic didn't run away with it, but they were fairly dominant, only losing 9 games all season. None of them to Rangers. Rangers finishing 6th, so they would have played West Brom in the playoff semi-final and lost. So Celtic doing the business in the Championship. What more could you ask? I suppose you would hope that Rangers would have been higher up, but it kind of shows that Celtic is obviously the dominant force. Any other interesting result? I saw Derby at the bottom. So Derby finishing bottom of the league. That's not something you expect to see. Wigan getting 19th. Not great. Brentford getting themselves 9th. It's not a terrible result. So we're going to have a look and see how Rangers got on in the second season. Did they get promoted from the Championship? Just through the playoffs again. They are... I'd have expected Rangers to be an awful lot better than that. They beat Watford 3-0 in the semi-final and then went on to play Huddersfield, beating them 3-1 after extra time. I honestly would have expected Rangers to be doing better than that. Let's see, we'll jump forward to one season further and see did Celtic get relegated. They didn't. Right, so we are going to jump up to the Premier League in just a second. I'm going to stop because I don't want to ruin anything. I feel like if I jump forward or jump up to the Premier League, it might skip it forward to the current season, and I don't want to be giving away anything that's just after happening. So this is the 2021 season, which is a season where Rangers won promotion through the playoffs, and Celtic finished comfortably mid-table. They were, 4 points away from the Europa Conference 2, or whatever they're calling it, Euro Cup 2. And we're comfortably 17 points away from relegation. That seems like a pretty decent season if I do say so myself. It's kind of what you'd expect. Celtic have a team in the Scottish League that would definitely be good enough to finish mid-table in the Premier League. But this is with them getting Premier League money. So I would imagine the next season they would jump forward just a touch, would they? Are they? No, they finished 12th. Rangers did finish 15th in their first Premier League season, so they were separated by 2 points. That's a very, very close season for them. Newcastle did get themselves relegated. Actually, was there any interesting results? Arsenal getting top 4? It's crazy. This season, I don't think there was anything too mental. Burnley finishing 9th. Bournemouth getting 10th. Yeah, Celtic and Rangers being quite close points-wise. Very interesting. There was a little bit of a gap to 7th this time around. Not too far away from the relegation zone. This was definitely an interesting season. If this happened in real life, you'd be quite happy. It looks like Tottenham ran away with the league, but everyone else was fairly close. That's quite nice. The season after, again, it's all tight enough at the top. Arsenal going back to where they belong in 7th, getting beaten by Brighton. Rangers finishing 10th this season, 11 points away from Europe, and Celtic finished 14th. 14th. Brentford absolutely demolished. 17 points all season. Half the points of Fulham. Not great. Not great at all. But to be fair, Rangers definitely having a very, very good season here. I wonder, we'll have a look at transfers in a minute. I'm curious to see who they signed in the 22-23 season to get them from like relegation battle to mid-table. And what did Celtic do that pushed them so far down? We're also obviously going to have a look and see what the results in the Old Firm Derby were. But Celtic come back the final season, finishing 6 points away from Europe, and Rangers not too far behind. What's that? 5 points? Yeah, 5 points behind Celtic. That's pretty close. They've never seemed to be overly far away from each other. So I think that does prove that Celtic and Rangers could probably hold their own, or definitely would hold their own in the Premier League. But I do think Celtic would be the ones that were doing an awful lot better. I think this is proving that Scottish football is capable of performing in the Premier League. But would they be able to perform every season? But if they had Premier League money, they'd be fine. The fact that West Ham are up there is just insane. It's just insane. Again, no real surprises in the league table. Let's have a quick look and see who... Or we'll have a look and see... we'll go back to the first season. I forgot to take one of the Champions League. But they made it to the group stage in the Championship. Not current season. We'll go back to the first season. They finished bottom. To be fair, it's kind of expected. Juventus, Lille and Porto. Not an easy group for them to play. They did pick up a result against Juventus though, and got a draw against Porto. That's pretty good. You know. I don't think they played. I removed them from the Scottish Cup games. So let's have a look and see how they did against Rangers. They drew 1-1 in March, and then where's the first game? Oh, they drew both games. Not the worst result in the world. FA Cup, beaten by Rotherham. Less than ideal. That's not ideal. And lost to Leicester in the Carabao Cup. So not what you'd want. That's their only season they made it into Europe, I think. Because I don't think they would have made it any further. This season, then they got beaten by Wigan in the Carabao Cup. They beat Accrington in the FA Cup, and then Swansea, and then beat Wolves. Oh, they made a bit of a run. Beat West Brom in the quarterfinal, and then lost to Leicester in the semi-final. Somewhat disappointing. This is the season that Rangers were in the Premier League, I think. Beat Tranmere in the Carabao Cup, then beat Everton in the Carabao Cup, and smashed by Tottenham. Beat Rangers 2-0. So they're, proving their worth. Beat Millwall in the FA Cup. Lost to Arsenal. Played friendly against St. Pauli for some reason. And then lost to Rangers 2-1. Forrest had a testimonial. Is he still playing for them? No, he's playing for Sheffield United. So Carabao Cup again. Beaten by Lincoln. What? Then lost to Rangers as well. Beat Bristol City. I could go through the league, but the league results, but I don't think it's that important. Beat Rangers 3-2 to make up for the fact they lost 2-1. Did not make a cup run this year, being beaten by Chelsea in the cup. And then the season just finished, beaten by Sunderland in the Carabao Cup. Sunderland in the Carabao Cup. Beat Rangers. And then St. Maximin. Edouard is still playing for them. Fair enough. We're gonna, like I said, have a look at the transfers in a minute. Beat Northampton and then Oxford in the FA Cup. Again, had another friendly against St. Pauli. What is it with St. Pauli? They played Tottenham in the 5th round and beat them. Then beat Brighton in the quarterfinal and lost in the semi-final to Manchester United. So that is how Celtic got on. Rangers, on the other hand, we've already had a look at the games they played against Celtic. We're going to have a look, see how they got on in the cups. So made it to the 3rd round, beaten by Wolves. How did they get on in the FA Cup? Beat Southend, Huddersfield, Montreal Impact friendly, randomly. It's very interesting. Beaten by Man United in the FA Cup. That was the most recent season. So yeah, they made it. They were in the Europa League. I forgot to remove them from European competitions, but I got them out of the Scottish, because I took them out of Scotland and moved them to England full time. So it beat Barry to make it to the best placed second qualifying round, where they beat Kairat 2-1, then beat Fervar, which is Videothon in English, then beat Rijeka to make it to the group stage, where they played Sparta Prague, Lugano, and Club Brugge. By the looks of it, they made it through their group. No, they did not. How did they not make it through their group? Group stage, what group was it? Group J. Group J. Alright, groups. There is no Group J. Oh, there must have been a... Yeah, there was a change. Okay. Group J, I'm pretty sure I saw their name pop up. J. Second in the group, so they did qualify. I'm just preempting. I was too quick. Beat Notts County in the third round of the FA Cup, then beat Huddersfield, and then played Borussia Mönchengladbach, which they beat to get through to the next round. Got beaten by Arsenal in the FA Cup, and then played Spartak Moscow and got knocked out 3-2. That's gotta hurt. And then the Championship playoff, we saw beaten by West Brom, beat Forest in the Carabao Cup, and then beat Sunderland, beat McDonald's and Newcastle, so they made it quite far in the Carabao Cup. Beaten by Arsenal, so Arsenal seem to be a bogey team. Beat Southampton, or lost to Southampton in the FA Cup, and that is everything that we dealt with there. Then obviously won promotion through the playoffs. Knocked out of the Carabao Cup straight away by Leeds. FA Cup, knocked out by Reading. So literally nothing else to look at here, because we've already seen everything else that we need, that we kind of wanted to see. They played Walsall and then played Barcelona, one after another. What a very strange friendlies. Beaten by... They lost to Norwich in the league and then lost to Norwich again 5 days later in the Carabao Cup second round. So that'll be a bit annoying for them. Beat QPR and then smashed and beat Wigan, of course. And then beaten by Everton. So you get what you deserve. That's a difficult end to the season. Man United and Spurs together. If we're looking, then that's not a great start to the Premier League season either. West Brom, fair enough. Man City, hard enough. Then they played Stoke. Should have won that game, really. Beat Everton on penalties in Carabao Cup and then got beaten by Wolves. FA Cup, Southend. I'm kind of curious, did anyone, like, which one of them made it the furthest in the FA Cup? I think Celtic made it semi-finals, if I remember correctly, from 5 minutes ago. Probably don't. Huddersfield got beaten by them. And then they got beaten by Man United in the FA Cup. That'll be slightly disappointing. They had a terrible end to the season. Like, from March until May, they played, 4, 9, 12 games? And only won 4 of them? And got beaten by a bunch of random teams. Fulham, Chelsea, fair enough. Tottenham, fair enough. West Ham got beaten by Celtic, which is probably the hardest one to take. But beat Arsenal, then lost to Stoke and Swansea. I would imagine that's less than ideal. Let's go back a little bit, see is there any interesting transfers. This is pretty much just the first year as is. Bought Jermaine Defoe. Kieran Tal came in. Anybody who doesn't know, he is a player who always generates in the game. Still playing for Rangers, wanted by Leeds. No, it was Reading he came from, yeah. Danny Loader joined them. Still hanging around. He was very good in the Championship. Trash in the Premier League. Makes sense. Stuart Dallas came in on loan. We're only going to look at like big ins and outs. So we're actually just going to do this. Glenn Kamara left. Stephen Davies left. John Flanagan went to Inter Miami. It'd be interesting to Inter Miami get on. Wes Fotheringham went off to Palace. Jermaine Defoe went on loan to Maccabi Tel Aviv. Let's see how we got on after. Didn't play. He didn't score a single goal in Israel. Ooh, that's got to be hard. Spent 74 million. Daniel James came in, and he's still about. Didn't get a whole lot of opportunities in his first season, but then was decent in his second season and was pretty bad last season, has to be said. Stuart Dallas and Luke Ayling brought in Eze, who's now at Bournemouth. They made a tidy profit off him. Fair enough. Craig Cathcart came in. Wolves paid a shit ton of money for him. Then Rangers came in and signed him for half nothing, and then just released him. That's very strange. They brought in Rainier from Real Madrid, played him 34 times, and then he went off to Valencia on loan. Now he's on loan at Leicester. Why don't they just play him? Interesting, expensive players that left: Helander, Greg Doherty. James Tavernier went on to play in Cyprus. Matt Ritchie went off to Ferencváros for 475k after being brought in a season before? 2 seasons before, for 1.3 million. Played him 10 times and then sold him to Hungary. Not the best business, has to be said. John Joe Shelby. I was going to say Mendy, one of the Mendys that's known. No. Dennis Mann came in on loan. Oh, and then he went to Celtic last season. Ooh, dividing the world. Players that went out then: Ross McCrory went to Watford. Stuart Dallas has been a busy man since this series started. Played 1 season for Leeds, went on loan to Rangers. Rangers bought him, played him a bunch, and then sold him at a loss to Ghent. And he's been really good for Ghent. I'm confused, but okay. Any players? No, it's not too important. And then the most recent season, Buendia came in from Norwich, who actually had one of his best seasons last year. Cedric Kipre, a man who is amazing and he doesn't get enough love on FM. Spent 3 seasons with Wigan, went on to Watford for only 3 million. That's disgusting. Wigan's best centre back gets sold for 3 million. This is the world where Wigan don't have as much financial issues. Decent time, and then went to Rangers for 13.75 million. We're never going to see how he actually gets on. Sabitzer went there. Maitland-Niles, as we saw. Ethan Laird came from DC United, having been at Man United. He's gone to Rangers. Had an average season. Pretty bad. Kik Pierre played for them. Where did Kik Pierre? So he went on loan to Villa, went to Juventus, went on loan to West Brom, Porto, and then signed for Rangers. That man's had a very interesting career. Kasami, ex-wonder kid from back in his Fulham days. Never really got a whole lot of opportunities at Fulham. Again, no, not a whole lot of opportunities at Rangers either. And they brought in Ricardo Rodriguez. I was looking at his name going, I feel like I've said that wrong. Loaned him for £1 million. And now he's off to Al Sadd. Yeah. Eze went out for 18 million. Bonaventura, didn't he sign the season before? He didn't sign the season before. He signed not long before. So he left on the 3rd of February and he signed on the 7th of July. Tidy bit of profit. Ryan Kent went off to Stuttgart. Luke Ayling went off to... Didn't they pay 10 million for him? Yeah, they paid 10 million 2 seasons before and then shipped him out for 115,000. That is not good business by them. Carental, definitely not going to make it. South Shields in Van Rama National at the age of 23. Yeah, I think we can safely say Carental didn't do well in this one. And John Joe Shelby was sent out to Turkey after spending 11.25 million on him. That is so much money to be spending on a player to just ship them out. Celtic, we'll go through this quickly because I don't want to make the video too long. Back to the first season. Scott Bain, so these are all players that would have probably been sold anyway. Manuel Locatelli, good signing. Danny Welbeck, 17.5 million. Are you mad? Copenhagen paid 5 million for him, so I don't know who's madder. Messina, 14 million. And then Aston Villa signed him for 7.5 million. Not been great, it has to be said. Anyone else? Farines, who is still there and was a starting goalkeeper for the first 2 seasons. So these 2 seasons, best goalkeeper at the club. These 2 seasons, not so much. And they brought in a player on the guy from Port Vale. Actually, he's joining PSG. Ousmane Cissé started at Port Vale, went to Celtic, now off to PSG. What? How does that even happen? Players that left. Nitcham went to Norwich. Bidden went to Lokomotiv Moscow. Connor Hazard went off to Birmingham. Birmingham signed a couple of their players. Interesting. Lee Griffiths went to QPR on loan. Where's he at now? AEK Athens. He's not been great. Lee Griffiths, not as good as he used to be. Luca Connell went out on loan. We're not going to look at that because he's just alone. Tyrone Mings came in from Villa. 23.5 million. So Villa made a loss on him. And Celtic aren't playing him as much as they did before. I feel like I just saw something. Yeah. Okay. Rogic went to Young Boys. Christophe Julien went to Villa. Lee Griffiths finally left for AEK. Phobie went 185k. Where did Shamrock Rovers get all that money? Karamenko Dembele left Celtic because he was not getting games. Went to New York and now he's back in England. Technically back in England because Celtic were in England at the start. Went back to West Brom for 8 million. I can't believe they let him go. That is just why would you do that? Maximienko is actually a real life player. 22 million, and he's been their number 1 goalkeeper for the last 2 seasons. Came from Krasnodar. Harry Winks, 12 million. Transfer listed. He's been fine, I guess. Tuanzebe joined Celtic, 9.5 million. He's been ever present since he joined. Ayoze Perez. Aaron Ramsey from Arsenal. Okay, no, different Aaron Ramsey. Sold to Norwich. I was like, how is Aaron Ramsey still playing football and costing 5.5 million? Ronaldo Stefan is a real player. I thought he was going to be fake. 11 appearances. Ayoze Perez. How did Ayoze Perez get on? They signed him. So obviously he did something. Didn't really do a lot. Players that they got rid of. James Forrest went to Sheffield United after he got his testimonial. Welbeck went to Copenhagen, as we already saw. None of the interesting players went out on loan. As we can see, Ayoze Perez came in, but St. Maximin, more importantly, came in and he had a really good season in the Championship. Not as good of a season in the Premier League. Goal-wise, anyway. Every other way, seems like he did pretty decent. Joe Roden came in. A player I tend to sign when I manage top division English sides. He was terrible for Celtic. He was decent for Newcastle. Was trash for Celtic. A 6.15. Can't be having it now. Sean Longstaff, 11.75. He never really kicked on. That's a bit disappointing. For him anyway. Mariki. Inter Milan paid 18.5 million for him. He was good, and then they were like, yeah, 10.75 million, not a bother. Away you go. For the cost of an international. That is crazy, crazy, crazy. Joe Flanagan. No, thought he was... Forgot that it was John Flanagan, not Joe Flanagan, who plays for Rangers. Fofana is a real player. Leon paid 4 million for him, and then played him 4 times in 2 years and loaned him to Celtic, who played him twice. And they paid a lot of money to loan him as well. Clement Lenglet went on loan to Man City. Or signed by Man City, went on loan to Celtic from Man City. Why did they pay so much money for him and then not play him? I'm very, like, I know FM has some weird transfers, but some of these are just, why, like? Bobby Arakanye is a Liverpool player, goes to Lazio for free, joins Celtic for 10.75 million. Player I didn't consider looking at because I didn't think he was all that important. And Burnley end up spending 26.5 million for him and then not playing him. What? Okay, they bought him in January, but still. Ajeti went to Fulham, 9.75 million, and he is joining Nice. Nice. For 6 million. That poor man is never going to get to settle anywhere. Messina finally left. Sorrow, Pavlenka. Armstrong Okoflex played 2 games in the Premier League for Celtic, scored a goal, and that was it. Has not made his Irish debut yet. Another player I tend to say he has some high potential. So I'm wondering how he's going to get on in FM21. Luca Connell didn't really get opportunities. Played 11 games, scored 1 goal for Celtic. It's a little disappointing. Is he an Irish international? He is. Of course he is. Oh, of course he is. Leo Connor, another Irishman. I'm just looking at these because they're Irish. Played a couple of games. Played some games. 21 games, 1 goal. Went to Huddersfield on loan. Yeah, that hasn't worked out for him so much. So there's a couple of players I was curious that I didn't see pop up there, like Ayer, who is still playing for the club, valued quite highly, and has been dominant. This is his worst season for appearances, but not quite the worst season overall. There is Edward. How did Edward get on? Edward in the Premier League, or in the Championship, got 14 goals, and in the Premier League 13 or more every single season, and he seems like he's just getting better. Still hasn't made his debut for France. Kinda makes sense. Callum McGregor, one of the long-standing Celtic players. It's been decent, to say the least. Pekovic, unhappy. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Let's have a look and see, is there... Robbie McCrory, you're current. Yeah. So he started as their number 1 goalkeeper, had a season where he didn't play all that often, and then went straight back into playing every game. Connor Goldson, the Brighton centre-back, who for some reason decided to leave Brighton when he was being touted as like a, good player. Been ever present bar the last 2 seasons where he's missed a lot of games. To be fair, he's been pretty trash for most of the last 2 seasons. Alfredo Morales. How have you been getting on, my friend? Dominant in the Championship. Smashing him in for fun. Jumped up to the Premier League. Wasn't as good in his first season. And then progressively got better. Played a lot of games. So, makes sense that he would do well. Daniel James wanted by West Ham. Danny Loader wanted by Brentford and Everton. So that is how Rangers and Celtic would get on in 5 seasons in England. Osman Edward, 3rd top goal scorer. Kylian Mbappe is playing for Man City. Just FYI, Kylian Mbappe. Of course he is. So if you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share with all of your friends. If you do want me to do another 5 years into the future, leave a comment down below saying 5 more years. Could do 4 more years and make it sound like it's a presidential thing. I leave it up to you. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. But we're not going to get political, but not for Trump. Thank you very much for watching, fellas, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!